Hi everyone, welcome back to the Wildflower Challenge. We're on video 3. Is that what we're on? And there's thousands of wildflowers we want to paint. I thought it might be kind of fun to do some poppies today. Now, I've painted tons of poppies, and of course, spending 30 years of my life out in California, we had the beautiful California poppy, and I thought, well, and this is the time of year for those to be out covering the hillsides and stuff. And I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun to paint that California poppy. And then when I was looking at a couple of pictures of California poppy, I came across this one too, which is it's a purpley kind of color one that is in the same variety or the family of the California poppy. It's called purple cream, and I thought, oh, that's a pretty one. Maybe put two of those, different colors together. I put the photos out there for some inspiration. Let's get going. Okay, I'm going to do the 8x10 board. This is a hardboard. This is a tempered hardboard, and then I gave it a coat of kind of a yellowy gray color that I made here with a little black, white, and a touch of my yellow like we've done before. I'll be using my fusion brushes. I might use a 6, maybe go up to a larger one like an 8 or a 10 here. I'll put that out just in case. And a 3/4 inch one. Colors. These are the colors that I use. I like to use. I used in the Rose Challenge. This is my Hansa yellow, my Darulite yellow, my yellow oxide. I always put out these 3 right here whenever I'm going to do something that's yellow based, and those poppies are yellow orange, so I put that out. My nice toned burnt sienna, naphtha red light, some pine green, which when I squirted it out kind of went plip out through there. That's carrying color. Some phthalo blue, the red light, red violet, and quinacridone violet, and some white. And let's get going. So I'm going to come in here first with my larger brush. I do like that. If I'm going to be doing something that are really warm colors here, I'm going to put a little bit of that blue into my background here. The phthalo blue and the white. Now, because this is a nice complement to the orange colors, yellow, orange, and stuff. So this will give us a little bit of more burst of color. On the small paintings that are like this, when I'm doing small paintings, I did it on the roses and stuff, I like to play and burst color a little bit more than I do on bigger ones, because you can afford that because of that. There's a rule of color theory called disproportionate color, and disproportionate color applies when we're going to be painting smaller paintings like this. All right, so put that on. I'm painting pure acrylic. Just wipe it down, soften it with a little bit of a paper towel there. I think maybe I will start out with my 8 here. I like to paint with a larger brush that I can handle easily within an area. That follows what John Singer Sargent always said. Let's go in and, this beautiful color, this Darulite yellow is a beautiful color. Now, normally when you make an orange, you head over and you add a little bit of the red to it, and you can see you can make some beautiful oranges. But this color, Darulite yellow, with a little bit of that dirty blue in there that I just hit, this Darulite yellow, it goes beautiful with a touch of this quinacridone. Look at that! Look at that color there too. It's beautiful, and that can head all the way to here. Those are beautiful. These are beautiful, beautiful colors right there. And if you look at that, those really are the colors right there of the California poppy that's in there. So it might be kind of fun to work with these colors. Let's talk about, and we'll maybe, I always like to model it up with a little Hansa and some of the other colors and stuff as well. Let's just start some general color area. I don't want to divide this like right in half or something, but I want to, I'm not going to shape the poppies yet. I'm just going to put in some color movement. We'll get very impressionistic with what we're doing here. And that's what I like to do, is I like to carry an impressionistic edge with these things. Paint fast, paint impressionistic. That's what we like to do. Okay, so we have that color. Let's get this over to maybe these violets. Violets, a little red, a little bit of that color in here. I'm just going to use a little water. Let's get this nice purple, this quinacridone violet. Let's get some of these nice purple colors here, this violet colors out. That would make a nice color through here. Look at how that streaks up though through some of that blue. Isn't that pretty? And we'll get some of these colors out through here. Dance one or two of them out through here. Just carry the color down. Carry the color up here. And that might be kind of pretty. That'll be a nice little set there. And I just like to carry the color, even though I don't have to shape them yet. And then let's take and let's put a bit of our green. I'm going to lighten this up, maybe a bit on the blue side here for just right now. We'll add more color. Let's just streak a little bit of the green through. Again, loosening it up just a bit. I'm not going to put any stems. You know, you see me so many times put stems and stuff. This is just to carry a little bit of the color in here first. And I just break that all up. Very impressionistic. Okay, I'm going to rinse that out of my brush because I'm working with that green. If I go into these violets, that's going to gray it, and I don't want to do that. So I give it a quick rinse here. Let's put some lights down into the center of this purple cream here, poppy. We'll put some white here. Pull that up because we're gonna shape this a little different. So we'll just drop some white right down here in the center. They have white centers on them. Unlike the California poppy, which is more yellow, we can put some more yellow right down into where we might have some of those centers. Here, Hansa yellow. Let's drop that in. You can put a little warm color. It's a good thing to always carry color. So maybe hit into these other poppies that we might put in here. Maybe hit a little bit of that warmth and that yellow in there as well, just to carry color, to tie them all together here, okay? It's a good thing to do. All right, let's go into some of this. Let's get over to these beautiful, I can't wait to paint with this color. This is kind of a pretty color. The quinacridone and some of my diarylide yellow here. And let's start to shape up just a bit of these petals. They're oval shape here, and they override each other quite a bit unless the poppy's older. And I'll kind of shape up the petal and then push in and out just a bit. Here, let's shorten one up here for the front of this one and push it in and out. Now you can let the petals, let's get more of this orange and this violet in here, change the color up a bit. And so I'll put something like that on, and then I might just stroke a little diarylide through it like that before I push it, and that gives me a nice mottled look to the color, see? Right through there like that. And this is how I started painting poppies this way several years ago and really enjoyed them. Felt like I had a lot of visual control on it. In other words, I can move that color really easy. And sometimes I'll set these colors up several times. See, if I come back again and set that light yellow up in there like that, I get even more contrast into that. And I can stroke down with a little bit more of the violet here and push those in here. A little more contrast, a little heavier color here. Just like this diarylide and a little bit of that violet. Just makes such pretty colors for these little poppies. And you notice I paint fast. I paint really fast because it's not that it's because it's wet or anything like that. It's I don't want to play too long with it because these are wider petaled flowers, and you can instantly start to get them looking stiff if you play around with them too much. So I always just paint and move around, and we can shape the petal. You can, like, I pick up here a little edge, a corner of the color, and I can use that if I want to give a little more contrast to a petal edge by drawing it in, or say I want to streak this in a little bit. I can grab that edge like that and just pull in and streak in the color. Now, got quite a bit of the violet on it, which is fine, but I don't want to lose all that beautiful orangey kind of color of the poppy, so I'll just restate that a bit. Just a bit more yellow here into the center there, which is kind of nice. That makes kind of a pretty little flower. Let's let's not work on the other ones. Let's go up and paint this purple cream one up here. We'll grab some of the quinacridone, which I love. A little bit of the other. Let's pull a petal down in towards that light. Break it up a little bit right there, and just push. And oh boy, it picked up a little bit of that. Isn't that pretty? Pick up just a little bit of the dirty yellow from my finger. So sometimes it's not bad not to, if you don't clean your hand, clean your fingers. Sometimes it's not so hot, but I'm going to wipe this off just a bit and push up and down. There. Now, if that's really, really dry on you, you can do like I showed you in roses and everything else. Is put a little water on your finger and just push through, and that'll do it too. You could also add a little extender. Every artist is a little different, and we all like a little different things. So I'm going to go a touch lighter here and pull a lighter petal edge in like I see in that photo of that one. That's kind of a pretty one. And then a nice rolled edge, darker up into the front, right down like this, because this one is kind of closed up just a bit. And then we'll pull down and close the whole front of that one all up. So when I close that down, it's like this side right here. I pull down, kind of curved that way. This side right down here, and then kind of into the center. And it makes kind of a pretty little difference there. Now I want to take, and we do what we call the petal edge technique. I'm going to take some white right here, edge it onto my petal here, and I'm going to pull that right down like that to set this petal edge a little bit better onto that one right there. And you can take that white and re-streak a little bit out here. Use that for use the petal edge technique here, where we just put a tiny bit of color onto the corner of our brush. We use that to anytime we want to kind of draw something, draw the edge of a petal. Now I like that. I'm just going to take a little warmer, a little yellow, a little bit of that, and just drop that in. Makes kind of a pretty little flower there. Okay, so let's just make an opened. Grab some of this white right down over here. Let's just pull some of that out. We'll make a smaller, more opened one here. Bit of my violet here. You can shape these petals. They're nice. The poppies are, when they're closed up, they almost look like a tulip, and then when they all open up, then they can get all wild and crazy. They can separate. The petals can separate. They can stay together, and it's beautiful to see a field of them, which we used to always have around us in our place in California, and you see all of them all around, and they have all different kinds. It's kind of like, here's an older mature one opened up and you get the breaks, and here's a younger one. All the it almost looks like a little morning glory, as it's all closed. All the petals are overriding each other and stuff, so it's not very old. So you can paint them in all different kinds of ways. They're kind of fun, leave some little spaces there and everything. So I like that. I like those colors coming down through here, and I'm gonna add just a little bit of an idea that this is one down here. I'm not going to get too wild and crazy about it here, and because I want to set that reference photo over there, because I want it to be about these right in here more than anything else. And so I'm gonna make it very soft. We'll just leave that for a second. I'm going to put a little more contrast right in here into the center of that one. I really want to pull the viewer's eye in here, which I'll do with a lot of contrast at the end too. I know I have that coming. I want to take a bit of this violet though and just kind of push that around. This is going to be my main interest one, this California poppy, and but I'll bring some more interest into some of these others just by increasing the edge and the contrast the color contrast right in here. You know, we're artists. We control the color, and so I control the amount and everything here. It's going to pull the viewer's eye right into there. That's what I want. You know, I want that softer light that the contrast up against that coming out of the center of that poppy here. So, and of course you take beautiful, beautiful. Those of you that love poppies, painting poppies. I think one of the greatest of all poppy painters was a French artist who moved to America after the French banking collapse in the 19th century, later part of the 19th century. Paul de Longpre. You go look him up. He's just an amazing poppy painter, and he painted a lot in watercolor and gouache, and painted a lot of flowers and stuff for magazines and stuff like that. They were just beautiful. He's just a beautiful painter. And he moved to L.A., had a big, huge, like 10-acre garden in L.A. Can you imagine that? What that would be like today? But beautiful painter, if you ever want to study, Paul de Longpre. I went over to France just to study some of his painting techniques where he had started out. And just an amazing painter. So, but his poppies are beautiful. Here, so I'll just put a little more color. Boom! See, each time I hit that, see how much more, and I just tap that around there, bringing that nice mottled inside of that poppy there. Let's drop in. So I'm going to go some Hansa and Darulide, bit of my. I just like that quinacridone and those together. Let's shape up another one, kind of coming down this way. Maybe a bit more yellow, and maybe maybe just a bit toned. Let's try a little yellow oxide in that. Now, why? Because I want to keep the viewer's eye up to this one. I don't want to paint I want this one to be a softer version of one that's just kind of falling down here, and so maybe we'll just kind of shape up some petals here. This one. Just override each other a little bit. We'll put some of that nice. We'll go maybe a little bit of that red and the yellow oxide, slightly different, so it's not quite as powerful as the other one here. And we'll just kind of paint it turning down here. You notice I work fast, because that keeps me from getting them stiff. And which I painted many years of stiff little flowers, and I've learned that I explode the color like that off of my brush, and that keeps the more casual edge to it, and I like it that way. Let's take some of that and a little bit of that, light it in there and get a bit of an edge. As I come out here, I'm going to want these maybe to get to a lost edge there, so I don't have competing things. Let's let that set up for a second. Let's put a darker little bit here of this purple cream one here, just a little edge of that. Doesn't take too much to say they're poppies, and I used to always paint them. I started out when I painted them, they were always the same, and now I'm learning to get them a little bit more casual and different. And part of that is, don't try to make it so perfect. Let the viewer see what it is that they want to see. Now, I may come in here like this and take a little darker and maybe form the petal just with that petal edging. This is the petal edging. Remember, we did that on the roses and stuff, and it's a great little technique because you just like almost sketch with it. And I might put this little petal coming in just like that to give this one a little bit more shape, but then I'll thin this out here and really lose that back edge of that right there. Might be a nice thing. but you can put like, the poppies, you can have like a little edge, little broken edge like that. That's kind of stuff makes them kind of pretty there. And I like that soft, maybe a touch of yellow into that. But that softer look. Pull some of that out. Shape some of that. Go back and forth between your light and your dark, but don't do it too many times. They'll blend, and I don't blend. See, I'm streaking the color. I'm not blending the color. It kind of looks a little bit blended, but I'm not. Now I'm going to increase the contrast here. One more little dose of white right in here. I'm going to increase that. See what that does as we build that color. I don't like to, I like to paint it several times, so I built that up there and built that up a couple times. Let's take a bit of that softer light, drop it into that one there. Okay, and let's come in here now. I'm going to take some of my pine green, a little bit of my burnt sienna, which I like, and I'm going to cool it with a touch of that red violet. That's that real dark that I make so many times. Gives me a nice dark contrasting green right there in that center. Cool. It's cool from that red violet, and it's dark and it's contrast. Okay. Let's drop a little bit in here. Let's not close up all of that center with the green. Let's maybe give a few ideas of some, just some ideas of some stems. Now the poppy leaves are all kinds of, they can have all these little tiny small ones. So I'm not going to do big leaves. I'm just going to do, some color strikes here of some leaves coming out. And I'll vary the tone. Sometimes I'll have a little blue and light color with it, and sometimes I'll have some of that burnt sienna with it here. So we're just going to vary that. Maybe I'll put a little bit of dark there like that. So I'll do a lot of little color strikes with it. We haven't painted on their pretty centers yet either, so. But a little bit of movement. That's why I always call this the brush dance. Just let the brush dance around. Blur it out a bit, okay? Blur it out. Here, let some of this come down. You can, some of these other colors back here, do you want to develop anything in here? Like this is another little, I like the color coming down. Maybe just a little bit more, like this is a couple more little poppies and stuff back here into the back here. That's good. And go back and add a few more touches of the thing. Now you can go more of a yellow green, which is, you should always kind of give it a try. Here, let's try it. If you have light values and stuff into your flowers, I'm a big advocate of it. Your leaves, to get good harmony with your flowers, you should always paint your leaves with some of the same techniques that you're doing with your flowers. So if I'm painting multi-tone, light and dark flowers, I should put a few of those lights and darks into my leaves here as well. So a nice yellow-green, warm yellow-green here. A few little strikes here into the front for some of these leaves coming out. It's kind of pretty. But they stay very small, as you can see with all the, the poppy leaves. You don't see too many of them. So you just want to get some nice movements and stuff back here. Don't cover up all that blue. I love that blue streaking through. And, we've done it the last couple times, I know, but I really like it, especially on small paintings. It's really kind of a pretty thing to streak through. And so you can, always grab that. I love that kind of impressionistic look it can give to a nice painting. See, dragging that through like that just lightens and airies up the painting. I like it. Especially on a small painting, it's really kind of fun. Now, for the centers here, you have your choice of doing a lot of the detail. Their centers are just more color. And I'm just going to take some of my yellows, a little burnt sienna, a little red, and just kind of indicate here, a little more burnt sienna here, some of the center lines there. You could do it with a small brush. I like to, I'm a casual painter, so I don't like to go grab a liner brush or anything like that very often. I like to do it with a corner of my brush where I get a less perfect line here. So just going to drop that in, and I'll go in and tap in some brighter, little bit of the Hansa in there as well, and maybe re-streak out some. Here, see, I'm work on this center of this one. This is the one that I really want to grab a lot of the attention into the painting. So I'll work on it just a bit, getting some of those colors back and forth. And not too much. We want to keep it kind of soft. This other one over here, this doesn't, since it's closed up, you don't see any much. But I looked at some that were open, and they have like little light colored movements in there. So I'm just going to take just take a little light and a little yellow here. Just kind of tap that in. Give it just an idea of a center here of these. Leave that here, just very impressionistic of it. Now, I see on this, I like everything on it. I think I'm gonna put a little more yellow, my Darulite, my Hansa, and a little white here, and I'm gonna lighten up and contrast up this one just a little bit more. This is, a personal artistic choice that you do, but I want this one to really kind of contrast so his value can come up a bit more, which gives it a bit more interest here. And we'll pull out a little more Darulite on this side here, so it's a little bit darker than that other side. And you can really leave more of a stroke of the brush too, but I do like pulling it through, but you can leave more of a stroke of the brush if you want some additional contrast there. So there's that. Now I'm going to go back to my Darulite and a little bit of the quinacridone here, and just lift and pull through that, just to leave a little bit of that streak right there like that. That's just a brush movement streak, and I like those. And now here, make it come off. I might even go all the way to a bit of the red violet to give that's a touch dark, but just a touch of that here to give a bit more of that edge. Now I want that one sitting on front of it. But you control that. You control that, and don't be afraid to revisit this a couple of times as you're figuring out just how much contrast you want these little petals to have here, and how much color you want into them. Okay, you can do it a couple of times. I'm going to put a little touch of the darker quinacridone kind of color back through here, just a little mark of that, and that one coming off here, just like that. Makes a pretty little center. Now I have just one more little center here to do, and I'm going to do it very soft here, a little yellow oxide, burnt sienna, and we'll just mark it up here just a bit like that. Keep that one pretty soft. You might put a touch more here onto up on of the light like I did there. You might put a bit, or maybe even a touch of that quinacridone up here onto an edge. Push that in and out to to get that nice reddish little edge there to that one. But it makes a nice little painting of some poppies here, and drop it into a frame, and it'll make it kind of pretty. And you can, like I said, you can get some darker color. If I really want to contrast up even more, take that pine green and red violet, nice super dark cool green, and really make sure you can see some of that right down into that center, right down in there. Just little touches of it. Doesn't have to be everywhere in there. Just little touches of it is enough to really contrast that whole painting. And you can put some back down through here and lift off just as it's coming off of there. That keeps that interest coming there right around that front, that big one we have there. So it's really kind of fun. So a few more little touches there, and on your poppies, and you can spark them up as much as you want, or it is to have some fun with them. They're pretty colors, and to work with those colors, and try those. So I use mostly the 6 and the 8 fusion brush in that 3/4 inch one. Have some fun with them, shape them up some different ways. Go out online and put them in to Google, search for images and stuff. Don't copy them, but just take some, get yourself some ideas from them. Have some fun with them. They're really a lot of fun, and especially to try to get that movement into those petals. But fold them and do different kinds of things. They're really a lot of fun. Okay, all right. I'll see you on the next one.